Yes.
Okay, then good afternoon. And before we move into the bronze medal match, let's introduce ourselves.
Yes.
My name is Roger Creamer. I'm with Cubica AMF. I look after their international relations and sports development. Nora.
Yes. I'm Nora Johansson, and I'm a bowler from
Nora,
Sweden.
Nora, don't say it as if you're guilty. There's nothing wrong with it.
No, no. I'm a bowler. I'm a competitive bowler. I'm trying on the PWBA tour also. So
You do?
yes,
How are you doing on the tour?
not good.
Not good or good?
Not good.
Room for improvement.
Of course, there's always.
Tell me why you don't think you're doing well, because you obviously went there thinking you would.
Yes.
Otherwise, you wouldn't take that risk. What do you think's been the problem while you've been out there?
Well, it's really different from bowling in Europe. It's old lanes, and it's harder patterns, and it's better bowlers also. So
Yeah,
it's tough.
yeah.
But I think you need to find your space in the tour and then continue to grow.
Are you still seeing pro stops on wooden lanes,
No.
or just very old
Yeah.
synthetic?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
It's more taken care of in Sweden, in my
yeah,
opinion, or like
yeah.
Europe.
So, what do you think we're in store for now with the bronze medal matches?
Yes. For the bronze matches, it's interesting. We have Singapore on the men's side and Finland's Lukas Väänänen. That's two really different bowlers, in my opinion. One two-handed and one one-handed.
What I was really surprised at when I came here a few days ago and saw the top 16 men,
Yes.
how many two-handed bowlers there were. I think there were only 3 one-handed
Yes,
bowlers of
yes.
16. That's just incredible.
Yes.
And the difference in the scoring between this event and the youth event that was here 2 years ago is just incredible.
Yeah.
You know, the scoring has really been quite amazing.
Yeah. It has been.
So you fancy Singapore?
I do think that if we're talking about the men's, I think that Lucas has an advantage, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But there's two from Singapore in the bronze matches, so which just says that Singapore is a great bowling country.
Yeah, in fact, Singapore was the only country that managed to get 2 in the last 8, weren't they?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. No, really quite incredible. I was there last week at the back end of the Singapore Open,
Oh, yeah.
and I think they had about 700 competitors, and the quality was just amazing.
Yeah.
But it was dominated by Singapore and Malaysia.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
What's your opinion? Who do you think?
I think I would like to say Singapore
Yes.
in the men's.
Yes.
I just have a feeling Singapore is going to be Finland.
Yeah.
In the girls, that's going to be a tough one.
Yeah. Well, there's a lefty on the girl side and a righty, so
yeah,
they have their own lane to bowl up.
Yeah. So at least we're not going to have to get excited as the previous commentators did as the perfect game was looming now that they've started and no one started that well.
Yeah. There was almost 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, was it 299 for the girl?
Yeah, she played with the purple hammer for all frames, but the last frame she changed balls and got the 9 pin on a really good hit. So
Really?
yeah, she did. But she also did a
Hang
300
on.
in
The
qualification.
first 11, she used one ball and changed for the.
Yes, because she already shot 300 this week.
Oh, and she didn't want another one. Oh, understandable.
I don't know. I would like to have another one if I was the girl, but you know.
Oh, it's a long time ago since I had a 300.
Yeah.
And the first one was with a rubber ball, which
Oh.
I think.
Yeah.
I think it was an AMF Dick Weber, if my memory serves me correctly.
Yeah.
And the second one was with a Columbia white dot.
Oh, isn't that a spare ball?
It wasn't in those days.
Oh, yeah, but now it is.
There was 3 Columbias. There was the blue dot, which was pretty hard.
Yes.
The white dot was in between, and the yellow was a softer.
Oh.
I couldn't keep a yellow dot on the lane.
Oh.
But
Yeah.
But you know, conditions were different. The amount of oil that was put on the lane is different.
Yeah.
The patterns of oil were certainly very, very different. And of course, until 1984, I think it was, that was your choice. You either had a rubber ball or you had a polyester.
Yeah.
And then came along the first of the urethanes with the angles. And then what we have 10 years later, I think the first reactive urethanes came along.
Yeah.
And ever since then, the ball manufacturers seem to be changing every week with something new.
It's always something new.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Danish girl has started with 3 9s in a row, and the Singaporean has 1 strike and 2 open frames. So
I think when you're this early in the game,
Yeah.
when you started clean,
yeah,
and your opponent has already had 2 opens, you've got to be fairly confident.
yeah, use that to your advantage.
Yeah.
Seems like it's one lane that is not great for the right-handed girl.
Well, the lanes certainly haven't affected scoreability this week because the scoring has been really quite magnificent.
Yeah.
And this is youth. These are not grown-up people yet.
Yes.
And yet, you know, when I was watching the boys and the girls in the top 16, it was just really quite amazing.
Yeah.
Not something I expected to see.
No. Well, it's fun to watch younger people bowl because you can see future.
They're our future.
Yeah.
You know, if we don't have it at this age, unfortunately, our sport is on the road to ruin.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, we need to encourage youth and kids programs.
Yeah.
Very important.
The right lane for the Singaporean is not good.
She's going to struggle to come back from that.
Yeah. What do you think about two-handed bowlers and one-handed bowlers?
My son, who is also in the bowling business and has been really since he left school.
Yes.
When he was 17, he used to throw a ball two-handed.
Oh.
So we're talking about 35 years ago when no one was doing it. And he wouldn't do it with a ball as heavy as they're using now. My assumption is they're all probably using about 15.
Yeah, 15 or 14.
Yeah, he would be using something a little lighter than that.
Yeah.
But it was amazing the sort of pin action you would get. And in those days, there were no synthetic lanes. You were doing this on wood.
Yes.
But he really retired from bowling, or competitive bowling, when he was about 21 and just concentrated on the business. Mainly on installation, all the technical side.
Oh, yeah.
He has one of the largest installation companies in Europe.
Oh.
It does all of AMF's work.
Oh, yeah. Great shot from Karen from Denmark.
I think if either of us were in Karen's shoes at the moment, we would be quite
feel comfortable. Yeah.
Quite comfortable. But as we've seen in the previous matches, when it's the best of 3,
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah, you never know. I mean, you can have the highest score
Sure.
of 3 games, but you
Yeah.
still lose.
Yeah.
But that's the game, and we signed up for it, so...
Yep. And of course, you look forward in not too many months from now to the Lucky Larson, don't you? Here?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
So
gonna be nice.
You'll be here for that?
Yes.
You're going to play in it?
Yes, of
Good,
course. I'll always play.
I've missed the last couple, but I've promised myself that somehow I will manage to get to the next one.
Yes, you should.
At the moment, August is clear for me, so so I have actually put it in the diary.
Yeah, yeah. Lucas from Finland is also going strong. He has 5 in a row now.
Yeah, he's made up for the Open in the second.
Yeah.
And done enough just to get a little in front of Brian.
Yeah.
And I think Karen can stop now because I think she's won this game.
Well, yeah. Just stay locked in and don't do too much other things. Then it would be fine for her.
Nice shot.
Good spare.
I'm quite fortunate in as much that I travel around the world just going to events. It's, you know,
Yeah.
it's part of my function with Cubica AMF. And this is the second time I've been to this centre. So 2 years ago when we had the World Youth, wasn't it?
It's 3 years ago.
3 years ago,
Yeah.
right? And this feels better than any event that I ever go to. This location is just so special. You know, they all have something, but I don't know. Helsingborg just has that little extra.
It has a special place.
It
in your
really
heart.
is. You know, the people here are great.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, well,
you couldn't wish for better.
bowling
hosts.
is great of taking care here. So it's good for the sport for it to be here than somewhere else where people
and you've built the
mostly
city
care.
around the docks since I was last here because the hotel we're staying was, I think, it was under construction when I was last here.
Oh, it was?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, it didn't exist then.
Oh.
So that area has changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
But it's a nice town.
Yes.
Yeah, good shot.
9 in a row. Nope. 7 in a row. 1 open frame.
Well, I think we have winners of both the first games.
Yes. Oh.
As a competitor, have you played in many events where it's best of 3?
Yes.
Have you lost any?
Yes. I have.
And you've won some.
Of course.
The ones you lost, did you lose 2-0?
Did I
lose 2 games? Or were you were beaten 2-1?
I can't really remember, but I played this Youth World Cup in Peru last time, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And, well, there wasn't so many competitors there. So every girl who played in the qualification also advanced to the round robin. Because there wasn't more than 14 players or less.
Yeah.
And then I think I was first going in for the match play rounds, and I unfortunately lost. But well, it's hard. That was actually one of the worst bowling days in my life. But you know, sometimes you win, and sometimes you lose.
Sure.
It's just up for something greater.
You know, although I've been in the business since I was 21, which is, I won't tell you how many years ago, but it was many.
Yeah.
I played until I was, I guess, until I was about 35 or 40, and then the business really took over, and I just didn't have time for both. And as bowling didn't pay me,
Yeah.
sport bowling didn't pay me, I had no choice.
Yeah.
But I used to love it on the circuit. You know, in those days, there was pretty much like an almost unofficial European tour. There was an event somewhere in Europe every weekend.
Yeah.
The majority of which were team events with the singles attached. And we would leave the UK every weekend and go to a tournament in Belgium, France, Holland, wherever. And, you know, we had some amazing times.
Yeah.
Amazing times.
Yeah.
And we were very fortunate, or the team that I played with was very fortunate in as much that they were without doubt at that time the best in Europe. So we played about 90 tournaments and won 85 of them.
Yeah.
It was just, but it gets into your blood. And once it's there, even though I don't play anymore,
It's always going to be there.
it is always going to be there.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want it any other way.
No. Well,
Scoring is still pretty good, you know.
yeah.
247 and lost.
Yeah. That's hard.
That's tough.
Seems like Lucas has found something here. He struck every frame but one. So that's great. And Karen also starts with a strike.
I think with the men, I think I would probably still have to favour Finland.
Yeah. Yes.
My only criticism, he takes too long.
Yes.
Spends far too much time, but between the time the lane is available to be played on,
Yeah.
until the time he actually moves. And that may be something that's okay with him,
But not
but
for
it's
the
not
others.
very good with a viewer.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Also that.
And you know, if we're, you know, hopefully we're talking to people who don't know anything about bowling, and it's those people that we really are trying to attract.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to attract bowlers; they're already here.
Yeah. Of course.
But you know, I remember we did a World Cup a few years ago in Shanghai.
Oh.
I think it was about 2017, 18, 19, something like that.
Yeah.
And we had the final in an arena above the bowling centre.
Oh.
So the pair of lanes were set up in the arena, and there were tiered seating on either side. And when we started, and I don't know how it happened, but somehow or other, there were 2,000 people watching that event.
That's amazing.
It just was incredible. 4 hours later,
Yeah.
when a Chinese guy won it, the audience was down to 200 because it was just too dense.
Yeah.
It was just, yeah. From a, you know, those 2,000 people sitting in the bleachers were not bowlers.
Yeah.
You know, they came in to be entertained for the afternoon, and unfortunately, the speed at which the event was running, unfortunately, did not entertain.
It's almost boring for people that don't know bowling.
It is.
Well, it's something when bowlers are slow, it also affects all other bowlers that are bowling.
Sure.
So it's not only the person who's bowling.
Yeah. Although it's a difficult thing to police.
Yeah.
Because, you know, here we've only been using 16 lanes, I think, most of the time.
Yeah.
You need 8 sort of volunteer officials to each look over a pair or four lanes just to be able to police it. It's very difficult to police, but I think it's something that somehow you've got to tackle.
Yeah.
And certainly the men aren't going to allow me to have satisfaction that my prediction was correct at the moment. I've been surprised in the last couple of days the number of times single pins are missed.
Yes.
Really surprising. You know, it happens. Okay, 7 pin for a left-hander, 10 pin for a right-hander.
Yeah.
Sometimes. But you see pins in the middle of the lane being
Yeah.
missed. And quite a few times. And that really doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
No. Well, I wouldn't say I'm the best person to spare. But I have learned over the years that it's better to spare it up. Because sometimes you always miss a final and you say like, oh, I only have 20 pins to the cut.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I also have missed the 10 pin 4 times, so
yeah,
it's my fault.
Yeah. But then how many times would you miss a 5 pin? Almost never.
No, never. I wouldn't put it up.
But I've seen it here.
Yeah. Sometimes it happens.
Okay, so we got both Brian and Lucas on a 290 each, huh?
Yes.
Did you watch the match in the last 8 before this?
Yeah.
Where you had the 2 people on a 277 going into the 10th?
Oh,
that was
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
That was
to lose
really...
of what 265 is not what you think you would do.
Yeah.
That's just...
If you turn around to him at the beginning of the game and said, look, I'll give you 265 and you don't have to play, would you accept? He said, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't expect to lose on a 260 plus.
Well, it's amazing to see those scores.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's more public bowling, in my opinion, also. When it gets kind of nervous to the end.
I think everyone that was watching that game was nervous.
Yes.
Not only the 2 guys that were playing, but, you know, it certainly had me captivated.
Yeah. Someone has written in the comments that I'm not a fan of best out of 3 games. You can play average with 225 in 30 games and then lose to a 2 out of 5 average over 2 games. I don't think it's fair. True, I don't think it's fair also, but it's the game, it's the rules.
Sure.
And we have to bowl for it, so we signed up for it.
And of course, anyone listening, please do send your comments. You know, we can laugh at them.
Yeah.
And of course, it also lets us know that someone's out there.
Yeah. Nice to get some feedback. The game's the game. Looks like the Danish girl has some advantage here also.
Yeah.
And
then she's just doubled, yeah.
Yeah.
So she won 2 marks up already in the 6.
Oh,
that hurts.
That was a good shot.
That hurts.
It's not her lane.
I haven't really talked to many of the participants in the last couple of days, but I'm wondering if they're feeling there is a difference between either
on the
lane
lanes.
reaction or pin reaction from one end of the house and another. You know, is there a pair that they all dread?
Well, I can say my opinion because this is my home alley.
Yeah.
So 17 and 18 is the worst pairs in the whole alley.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know.
You don't know why?
I can't figure it out. But always when we have league, that's the worst pair. Doesn't matter if I start there or if I finish there.
That's the one that's going to kill you.
It's always the pair. Maybe it's in my head, but it's the pair. I blame the pair.
And I guess in the first bowling centre I ever played in, which was in my home city, just like yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a pair. I think it was 13 and 14. We just did not want to play. And it was a group of us used to play every day of the
Yeah.
week for money in the afternoons because we had nothing better to do. But we always avoided that pair.
Yeah. Yeah. And also 19 and 20 in this house are also pretty different from each other's.
I think in pairs, for whatever reason it is, always seem to be a little strange.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because of the building itself that pair is so close to the outside walls or whatever.
Yeah.
But they always seem to be a little different.
Yeah, and it's almost everywhere that
Yeah.
like lane 1 and lane 20 always hooks more. Also a great shot from Karen.
Brian's not going to give it away, that's for sure.
No, it's a tight match. Oh. He needed that strike to be even.
Yeah, he needed that.
Yeah. Seems like it was a little bit high on the one pin.
It was 89, I know. He's on maximum 249. Something like that.
Yes.
And 259 for Brian. That's not over yet.
I think it's 269 for Brian. 150 and 119. And Lucas can do 49.
Yep.
Well, he's not giving it away.
Mm-hmm.
He also wants to win. Yes, the end pairs always feel a bit different for me. Yes.
You say this is your home bowling centre, is it your hometown?
It's not.
You have to travel to bowl here?
I'm born and raised in a town in Småland, Eksjö. It's further up in the Sweden. So it's more like, Jönköping? Yeah, I live like a bit from there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I moved here when I finished school. So I live in Höganäs, which is like 20 minutes from here.
Yeah.
So it's not a tough drive, but I still drive here, so it's not my home, but it's my league home center.
Yeah.
So
I'm getting confused because they put score in, then they take it out. The 9 and the 10 for Brian was there, then it disappeared, and now it's back again.
I think the scoring is right, but
So what's he on? 247. He's won that score. No, it's 247. And Lucas can get 249.
Brian can also do two. What can he do? I'm trying to see. Yeah. 248.
Yeah, Lucas can get 249.
Yeah.
So he needs to strike out to win the bronze.
Yeah, and on the left lane where he hasn't struck since frame 4.
Yeah.
Do you think he's nervous? Would you be nervous?
I think when you get to a medal match representing your country,
Yes.
and you're that close to the end of either winning or losing, it's very, very hard to say that I'm not nervous.
Ooh,
Good shot.
makes the first. Yeah. I think it's good to be a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Pressure is sometimes good.
Okay, so Lucas needs one. Yeah, needs one to probably tie it up. And then only, yeah, one more in a nine count.
Yeah. Well, now we got the girls' match. If she and Lim from Singapore strikes the last shot, she wins by 1 pin.
Yep.
And then it goes to a third
Then
game.
it goes to a third game.
Yeah. Maybe the right lane. She has found it now. Oh, that was... Oh,
So she lost by a pin.
yeah.
That hurts.
Yeah, that's sad.
So bronze medal goes to Karen.
Yes.
So at least she doesn't have to carry the medal too far. It's only just across the border.
True. That's nice just to go home. Not have too far.
Mm-hmm.
Nice messenger from Lucas.
Now see how quickly that strike went into the score grid.
Yeah. I think the live stream is after the scoring. That's why it kind of updates before.
So as long as he leaves no more than a single pin, that's the bronze medalist.
Yes. Takes his time.
See how much time it's taking? It's
Yes.
really too much.
It is.
We had an event pre-COVID in Las Vegas. I think it might have been about 2018 or 19, where we had live coverage for the final.
Yeah.
Because the bowling was so slow, they cut us completely and they went to football.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem.
Now it must be a minute since he had the opportunity to throw a ball, and he still hasn't. Is that noise of the people outside complaining? There you go.
Yes, he made it.
Okay, so there we go. In the IBF Youth World Cup presented by Cubic AMF, the first of the medals have been won. One going to Finland, and the other going to Denmark. This event's good for Scandinavia.
Yes. Well, we need to say that women will start the first final match for the gold, and then the men's match will go after that one. So they will not play at the same time for anyone listening to this. And it will also be...
It's on a new stream.
Yes, a new stream for the final. So, thank you for
And the
everybody.
stream will be kept running through this? Okay, good. So,
Yes.
any of our viewers, thanks for listening in and watching us this afternoon. I'm sure if you've done that for the afternoon, you'll want to continue with the finals. So don't
Yes.
forget, it's a new stream, and the men's and women's finals will be coming up very, very shortly.
Yes.
Nora, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
It's been my pleasure. And we'll do it again sometime.
Sometimes, yes.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye,
Bye.
everyone. Good. Done? Good go. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you.